every single woman that I work with that is working through this conversation downplays what they do. Is it enough? Is it good enough? Are people going to pay me for this? I don't have that much experience, blah, 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 all of those things. I'm telling you right now, today, in this moment, wherever you are listening to this, you are exactly what your people need. And now what they need is for you to anchor into that and feel that confidence and that conviction come from within you, because nobody's going to value you more than you value yourself. Hey there, and welcome to the Life and Business on Purpose podcast, where purpose meets profit and mindset meets strategy. I'm your host, Sandy Patterson, former kindergarten teacher turned online business coach, mom of two really cool boys, and the creator of the Momentum Method. Through this 3-phase method over the past 2.5 years, I have helped dozens of women build values-aligned, profitable businesses without working 40 plus hours a week, so they get to enjoy their business and live their lives on purpose. Around here, we do business differently because we believe success isn't about hustling to prove ourselves. We don't believe in rigid formulas or chasing someone else's version of success. It's about channeling perfection into power, moving with unstoppable trust in life and business, and leading with strategy that actually fits your life. Let's build your life and business on purpose together, one episode at a time. Here we go. Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Like always, I am so thrilled that you are here. I just got off of one of my mastermind calls and we were talking all about lead generation and offer suite and pricing and just all of the things that it's so funny. I think back to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, me to think that I would be like really excited to talk about lead generation and sales. Like it's just so funny, but I am so happy that you're here today. And this topic that we're diving into today around clarity, around how you talk about your work and your coaching is something that I have seen every single woman that I work with. I don't want to say struggle with, but something that we are continuously working on, whether you are a person who has just started your coaching business or has just gone into a coach training program or somebody who has been in business for years, we are all still refining and evolving as we get clarity around how we speak about our work. And so this episode is going to be so good. Now, you know that moment when someone asks you what you do, and instead of confidently explaining your coaching, you suddenly feel yourself kind of shrinking a little because we wonder, like, what are they going to think? What are they going to say? Do they even know what coaching is? I remember when I first started coaching and I told my family, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to become a coach. And they were like, oh, cool. What sport? And I'm like, no, not that kind of coach, like a life coach, a life and business coach, a mindset coach. And your words just get kind of fuzzy and you kind of start rambling. You start like sweating a little, and halfway through, you kind of are second guessing based on their reaction and kind of what their face looks like. So you end up walking away from the conversation thinking, why the heck was that so hard to explain? I love what I do. I'm really good at it. So why am I having such a hard time like sharing this and explaining this? So if you have ever wished that you could talk about your coaching with more clarity or conviction and confidence instead of that self-doubt or that shrinking, this episode is absolutely going to hit home. Now, for those of you that are new here, my name is Sandy Patterson and I help women build businesses that allow them to live life on their own terms. I spent years of my life in a job that turns out I actually hated, taking care of other people's kids when all I wanted to do was pour into my own kids. So long story short, I left that job and now I run my online coaching business full time, helping high achieving, recovering perfectionists get their online coaching businesses working with clients, with income, with the impact they know they were meant to make, so that they have the freedom to live life on their own terms, whatever that looks like for them, because this is what I am living out. For me, All it is about is being able to pick my kids up from school every day and be a present mom and be able to pay my mortgage. Now, we do this through my 3-phase momentum method, which is actually the 3 main ingredients to a successful online coaching business that do not get talked about like they should. And that is turning your high standards and your perfection into power to speed you up instead of slow you down, cultivating a massive amount of self-trust so you don't need validation or results to keep moving powerfully, and creating a values-aligned business that is actually fun for you to show up for and fun for you to run. Now, in the last episode, we talked about your no-brainer offer and what actually makes an offer a no-brainer for people to buy regardless of the price tag. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, make sure you go back and take a listen. It is really good. And before we dive in, if you know that you need clarity around how you talk about your coaching, how you see yourself as a coach, you can book an absolutely free, no pressure growth gap audit call. On this call, we will sit down together and look at your current life and business structure. We'll see what you have going on and where you're spending your time. We'll identify where your gaps are. We'll map out how to close them so you can see better results and talk about your work with clarity and conviction and without wobbling one little bit when somebody asks you, what do you do? The link for that growth gap audit call is in the show notes for you. Or if you're ready to go all in with longer term support where we can get into your business together and really gain clarity around these really big pieces that are going to allow you to speak about your work, you can also apply for my mastermind or for private coaching. The link for that is also in the show notes. Now, let's dive into this episode. This topic is something that brand new coaches deal with. It's something that coaches who are years into their businesses deal with. Plain and simple, you want to be able to talk about your coaching confidently. That's it. So when some random mom at your kid's baseball game asks, what do? You want to be able to explain it clearly and confidently and feel grounded in it. And that means you believe in it, you're able to explain who it's for, and it's really clear to the person on the other end what that means. And regardless of how they take it, you are anchored in it. You don't want to backpedal and ramble when Aunt Karen at Thanksgiving asks you how's your little coaching business going? You don't want to downplay it anymore. I remember in the beginning of my business, when people would ask me, what do I do? Because I went for years from telling people, oh yeah, I'm a kindergarten teacher, which got a really great response from people. And people were like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. That's so great. To now running this online coaching business that a lot of my people in my inner circle had no idea what that meant or what that looks like. And they probably still don't, honestly. Would say, what are you doing now? And I would immediately default to my other side job, which was teaching bar. So I would say, oh, I teach exercise classes, and then that would be it, because it's easy to explain and people understood what that meant, right? So you don't want to downplay this anymore. You don't want to default to your other real job when someone asks you what you do. So right now, if I had to guess, you are probably currently trying to perfect how you explain what you do. So you sit down, you're like, okay, I'm going to write down on my little index card or my Post-it, my elevator pitch, and you start to overthink how to describe your coaching, searching for this perfectly magical wording so you don't sound awkward or unclear. You write it on that Post-it and you stick it to your computer screen. And then if someone asks you what you do, or they say, tell me about your work, you go straight to that script. You default right to the Post-it, or you panic if, the words don't come out exactly right. Or if you don't have the Post-it next to you, you're like, oh gosh, wait, can I talk to you later? Can I tell you later when I have my Post-it in front of me, right? This is because you are trying to say it perfectly instead of simply just owning the work that you do. Now, the problem with this is when you think there's a right way or a perfect way to describe what you do, that's what leads to those rambling explanations or second guessing yourself, or in the middle of a sentence, or relying on that Post-it to be able to read from, or you just avoid conversations altogether. I have done that too. I have been there. I have absolutely ducked out when I knew it was about to be my time to explain what it is that I do. I just didn't have the energy or the words or the confidence and conviction to explain what it is that I do. So, little reminder here for you. Confidence around your work isn't something that you think your way into. Okay, let that sink in for just a second. Confidence around your work isn't something you think your way into. It is something that you build by anchoring into the impact you create and speaking about it often enough that it becomes second nature. So really, it's like trying to learn how to ride a bike or learn how to surf by studying the instructions and watching YouTube videos and journaling on it and writing on a Post-it, how to ride the bike or how to surf or how to get up on the wave. You can read about it all day long, but the confidence in actually doing it does not come from thinking about it or researching it or anything else. It comes from riding the bike or getting on the surfboard. And of course, wobbling a little bit the first few times or the first 100 times or taking a big fall and getting back up. But that's how you find your balance. And that's how eventually you realize that you don't need the training wheels anymore. Talking about your work and anchoring into your work works the exact same way. So instead, it is time, starting right now, it is time to start anchoring yourself into the real impact of your work and learning how to speak about it with conviction. And every single person, if you are here right now, every single person in my world is doing something, and I guarantee this is you. You are doing something that is making the world a better place. You are changing people's lives. Okay, let that sink in too. The work that you do allows people to show up in a completely different way. It allows them to show up in a way that they've dreamed about for years and years and years, but have been scared or didn't know how to move forward in that way. You are making a huge impact, and it's time to start owning that. You literally change the trajectory of your people's lives. That is not something to be taken lightly. And every single woman that I work with that is working through this conversation downplays what they do. Is it enough? Is it good enough? Are people going to pay me for this? I don't have that much experience, blah, 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 all of those things. I'm telling you right now, today, in this moment, wherever you are listening to this, you are exactly what your people need. And now what they need is for you to anchor into that and feel that confidence and that conviction come from within you, because nobody's going to value you more than you value yourself. So this is exactly what we're going to do today. You're probably wondering now, well, how the heck do I do this? How the heck do I talk about my work with clarity and confidence when I'm not even sure, I'm not sure about this. How do I do this? Here's exactly how to do this. I call this the grounded confidence framework, because confidence around your work, again, does not come from the perfect wording or your perfect elevator pitch or your Post-it note that's stuck to your computer. It literally comes from conviction in the work itself. Okay, and conviction is built through the three things that I'm about to share with you inside this grounded confidence framework. Number one is anchoring yourself into the transformation. Instead of obsessing over how to explain coaching, focus on what actually changes for people because of your work. So who are they when they come in to work with you, and who are they going to be afterwards? And if your brain automatically defaults to, well, I don't know if I can get people results, or, oh, some of my clients have gotten results, but some of them haven't, it literally does not matter. It matters that you have a good product and that you know how to coach, of course. But what matters here in this conversation is that you're anchored to what you can help people do when they are showing up at full capacity. Like they are your A+ star clients that shows up, is so engaged, is so excited to do this work with you, is getting off the calls, is doing their homework, is implementing, is putting these things into play. Think about that person and what actually changes for him or her because of this work, assuming that she wants to be there, assuming that she's excited to invest in this way in herself and do this work with you. What changes for her? So after you take her through your coaching process or your coaching program, how is she going to be different? How is she going to show up differently in her life, for her family, for her kids, for her coworkers, for herself? So to answer that question, what actually changes for people because of your work, you want to get clear on the problem that you're helping people solve, of course, the shifts that you help them make, so what's going to be different, and the results that your clients are experiencing or are going to experience. Because when you understand the transformation that you help create and cultivate with your people, it becomes so much easier to talk about your work, because you're no longer trying to sound impressive or sound like you know what you're talking about or sound like you know what you're doing. You're simply just describing the change you help people experience. So you get to get out of your head and more into your body around the work that you do. Because when we get in our head and we start overthinking, and am I saying the right thing? It's like, no, you're just explaining what it is you do. Like, it's literally no big deal. Like, if somebody were to ask you, hey, tell me about brushing your teeth, like, I could really easily explain, like, well, when I wake up in the morning, I have a really bad breath and I have this nasty taste in my mouth or whatever. And then I brush my teeth. I put the toothpaste on the toothbrush. I like get in there. I have this amazing electric toothbrush that my dentist recommended. And then I'm like good to go and I'm ready to rock and roll for the day. Like, I'm not trying to sound a certain way or like sound impressive. I'm just simply explaining what I do. I'm explaining the process and I'm explaining why this is so great. Because if I left my house without brushing my teeth, like that wouldn't be good, right? So you can see that's kind of a silly example, but you can see you're just talking about what you do. Like, you don't have to overthink it. You don't have to think about the perfect way or the right way to say it. It's just, this is what I do. This is how I do it. And this is why this is so fun for me. And also, this is why I do it too. I do this now because I want to pay this forward. I want to help other women live life on purpose, right? For me, that would be my example, because I spent, like I said in the beginning of the episode, I spent years of my life thinking, well, this is just how it is. I guess this is just how it has to be, until I realized there was another way. And so I've built the other way. And now I help women live out the other way and build the other way, with their businesses being the vehicle to be able to do that. That was not rehearsed. That is not written on a Post-it anywhere. That's just me talking from my heart. And it's what I say when people ask me, what do you do? I'll tell you too, I had this experience about a year ago when I was at one of my son's baseball events or something, and all the moms were there getting to know each other. This was a brand new team. And so they're going around the table and they're like, oh, what do you do? What do you do? And so I know that it's going to get to me eventually as we go around the circle. And all of these women are talking about, their office jobs or their quote unquote real jobs. They're nurses, they're this, they're that, they're whatever. All great things, all wonderful things. Love that for them. But of course we get to me, and basically I was like, I'm just going to say what comes out of my mouth. I'm not going to try to overthink this. I'm just going to sit in this idea that I know what I do. And if they don't understand, then they're going to ask questions to understand better. And if they don't want to understand, that's their problem, right? So I basically just said, oh yeah, I help women make money online so they can stay home with their kids, basically. And they kind of all like side-eyed me and looked at me like, what the hell? One of them was like, oh, like network marketing. And I was like, oh, no. And then I kind of did the same spiel that I just told you. I used to be a teacher. I realized I didn't want to take care of other people's kids anymore. I quit that job against a lot of advice not to quit that job. And a lot of people thought it was crazy. But now I run a coaching business where women hire me to help them build their businesses, doing online coaching and various other things and consulting, so that they can live life on their own terms, so that they get to pick their kids up from school, so that they get to work from home, so that they get to go to the gym or get a pedicure or get a margarita with their best friend in the middle of the day. It's just me talking about what I do, and that's that. And they were like, oh, okay, that's really cool. That makes sense. Step number 1, anchor to the transformation, anchor to how people are going to get better after going through this work. And there's no room when you are reflecting on this and when you are thinking about this, there is no room for well, what if they don't show up to the calls? Or what if I have to convince them to do the work? No, we're talking about the person that is all in, all there, the best case scenario, the person that you could get results. If she showed up in this certain way, that's your ideal client, by the way. If she shows up in this way, we are going to get her results no matter what. And if you're still flexing that muscle of, can I get people results? I always recommend practice, practice, practice. Like coach as many people as you can. Coach as many people as you can on whatever it is that they want to be coached on. The more practice, the more you're going to flex that muscle and gain this through line of what it is that you do in your transformation. Now, step number 2 is to stack evidence that your work is working and that it matters. So many of you, your brains will go, well, that's not enough. Like you'll get your client a result and you'll go, well, that result isn't big enough, or that result isn't enough. Or you'll start working with clients and you'll go, oh, well, they're not paying me, so it doesn't count. Or, that's just my friend, so she was just doing it to help me, so that doesn't really count. So I'm not going to count that as evidence that I can actually do this and this works. Confidence, again, does not come from thinking about it. It comes from evidence. This is literally how we rewire your brain to believe and know and understand that your work is transformative. Okay. So affirmations are great and everything. So let's just say the affirmation is, I am a great coach, or my work works, or my coaching work is transformative, whatever you want to word it. Tag on the beginning of that sentence, whatever your sentence or your mantra is, tag onto it every day. I am finding evidence of where, fill in the blank. My coaching is transformative. Great. What that does is it tells your brain, because your brain's job is to prove you right. So your brain is automatically going to start scanning for where this is true. And you have to you have to start noticing and counting little tiny moments. So it's not just, oh my gosh, my client had this amazing 10K month and she quit her job and that's the evidence. It's the little tiny micro moments that actually are what actually is going to rewire this thought belief that my coaching is transformative. So anytime you find evidence of this, you clock it. So literally put it in your phone, put it in a Post-it, put it in your pocket, put it somewhere where you're essentially going to have a list of all of these little moments of where what you're doing and how you're showing up is actually transformative for your people. So anytime there's a breakthrough, and I say this, it can be a client, it could be a question maybe you asked your partner and it had them realize oh my gosh, you're right, or a coworker or a friend, literally can be anyone, your kid, anytime anybody has a breakthrough and you were responsible, maybe you asked the question or you nudged them or you had them thinking about something in a different way, that counts. That's evidence. You can look at feedback that other people are giving you, but you don't have to rely just on what other people think. Where you feel like you're showing up as a really, really great coach and a person who can give people this transformation. And it could even just be hey, right now I am listening to this podcast to become a little bit better, to become 1% better than I was yesterday. That makes me a really freaking good coach because I am constantly and always evolving and trying to be better. Bam, there's your evidence. Clock all of it. You even get to use evidence, your own personal transformations, your own stories as evidence. You've led yourself through a shit ton of transformations since you've started your coaching and you've started your coaching business. Those all count too. Okay. Let's not forget those count. So clock everything. Every single one of these moments becomes proof that your work creates impact. And the more evidence that you have, the more your belief strengthens around this work and what I do and how I do it. And just by being me, this actually really freaking helps people. And I'm really freaking good at this. And I'm good at this for my people. I'm not good at it for everyone. I'm good at it for my people. I am exactly what my people need. Now, the third thing is to speak about your work as often as you possibly can. I always talk about this. When I got married almost 20 years ago. My maiden name was Berinsky. So I was used to introducing myself. Hey, I'm Sandy Berinsky. My students even called me Miss Berinsky up until that point. So when I got married, I changed my last name to Patterson. it was really awkward to say, oh, I'm Sandy Patterson. Like it was almost like a question, like, am I though? Yeah, I think I am. I am. So it's just a matter of like saying it over and over. Now, 20 years later, I don't second guess or like think twice about introducing myself as Sandy Patterson. It's just who I am. It's a non-declarative. So we need this work, the work that you're doing, to become a non-declarative, to become just the thing that you do and the thing that you believe in. And like, duh, why wouldn't anybody want to, come with me on this journey? Because confidence doesn't come from thinking about it. I could sit there all day and say, okay, my name is Sandy Patterson, and just think it in my head. But until I get out there and I start having conversations and I talk about it and I let it roll off my tongue, it's not going to make a difference. So it really comes from the repetition, which is what most people don't like to hear, but it's what's going to get you across that hump of like, how do I talk about this work? So the more you talk about your work in conversations, in your content, just in everyday moments, whenever you can sneak it in there, the more natural it is going to become. And I even challenge too, when my girls inside the mastermind are working on this particular thing around gaining clarity and going, like I know what I do and I feel how important it is. I just can't get it out in the way that I want to. I challenge them. I'll go, okay, you're going to come in here every day into our shared spaces, and you're going to voice note me, and you're just going to talk about what you do. No script, no post-it, no nothing. Just tell me, pretend like you and I are at happy hour and we've had a margarita and I'm like, hey, how's it going? What are you doing? What are you working on right now? Just tell me what you're doing. Get out of your head and just get into your body, get into your heart, and share about what it is that you've been up to and what it is that you've been doing. From those continued conversations, that's where you find your own voice. You find how it fits for you. You find what feels comfortable for you to say and how you say it. So practice, practice, practice. Even I remember in the beginning of my coaching practice, a good friend of mine, we would just share back and forth, like, share in Voxer, tell me what you're doing, tell me what we're talking about. It took years to really refine this. And we all continue to refine how we talk about our work, and that's okay. But the more we do it, the easier it's going to become. So this is where you stop searching for the perfect explanation or the perfect sentences or the perfect, like, how do I want this to sound? And you just start speaking about your work in simple human language, how you would say it. And over time, the nerves and the sweat that is evoked when somebody asks you what you do, it's going to fade. And what replaces that is conviction, which is what people buy from. People do not want to buy from somebody that feels wobbly or feels unsure about themselves. They want somebody that's going to lead them with conviction. And we want to feel like, that person's got me. She has got me, and I feel like I'm in really good hands. That begins with you, and it begins with these 3 steps inside of this grounded confidence framework. Now, this is exactly where my signature momentum method that I mentioned before, where it begins truly, and that's helping you move from perfectionism and there's this perfect way to say things, or there's this right way to say things, and that self-doubt when you go to talk about it, into really grounded confidence in your work. Now, there are 3 key pieces to this signature momentum method that have been transformative. And like I said before, these are the 3 key pieces that if you have these locked into place, nothing is going to stop you and everything is going to start working and start snowballing for you inside your online coaching business. And I don't hear people talking about these pieces as often as they should be talked about. And the first one is turning your perfectionism and your high standards into power versus something that's slowing you down. So it's not about fixing the perfectionism or fixing your high standards. You're the type of person that's always going to want things done right, because you are the girl that if you're going to go do something, you're going to do it well. You're not well. You're going to do it great, and you're going to be really good at it. So it is about diverting that perfectionism and those high standards into things that actually matter inside your business, which allows you to speed up and move a lot quicker than you probably are now. So no more obsessing over the perfect caption or overthinking what to say in a sales conversation, or wondering if you're doing things the quote unquote right way, or obsessing over what people think of you. That's actually a form of perfectionism. And instead, we divert that focus. So we just take that and we move it into things that actually matter, like creating a cohesive, recognizable brand, amazing messaging that speaks directly to your ideal client, and delivering an incredible client experience so that you create a community of your people who stick with you long term. So this step alone has allowed my clients to move a lot faster, sell a lot quicker, build stronger brands, and create client communities that actually last because their perfectionism is working for them instead of against them. Now, the second phase inside the momentum method is all about that unstoppable self-trust, because growing and scaling an online coaching business is not about finding this magic strategy or this thing that you think that you've been missing that's going to instantly skyrocket your business. It is about having a massive amount of self-trust so that you are able to move and sell and lead and show up really powerfully, regardless of what is happening outside, before evidence shows up, before you get any validation, or before even the results catch up to you. This is where you become literally unstoppable. That's why I call it the unstoppable trust system. And inside, we pinpoint the misalignment between what you're doing now and how you're showing up, and the mindset, behaviors, and strategy of where you want to go. And then we incrementally start to upgrade how you move and show up so that your business and your income can catch up to the identity that you're ready for. Now, the third phase inside of the momentum method is values-driven strategy. This one is huge because so many women come to me and say, Sandy, I'm doing so many things and nothing is working. And I ask them, okay, let's talk. What are you doing and why are you doing it? And usually the answer is, I'm doing it because either one, somebody else told me to, or two, because I saw somebody else do it and it worked for her. Running a successful and sustainable online coaching business is not about doing everything or doing what everyone else is doing or doing what your coach does or doing what you saw somebody do on Instagram. This is all about finding content, sales, and marketing strategy that work for you and your personality and the life that you're living. That you can do these things over and over and over again without dreading it or without feeling like you're pushing a boulder up a hill. So that when you show up to run your business, sell your offer, market your services, it feels fun and it feels effortless because it's aligned with you and your capacity and who you are, how you move in this world, how you show up, your voice, your vision, your values, all of the things. Okay. Now, this momentum method has been transformative for my clients and the key to unlocking their businesses and their lives simultaneously because their businesses start working around their lives versus the other way around. And the biggest change after implementing this momentum method and working through these three things and implementing them into my clients' businesses and my own business is how you feel about your work. So we move from, oh, I hope this works and I hope people take me seriously and I hope that I'm explaining this right, to I know this work helps people. I know the transformation that I create and I am proud to talk about what I do because all three of these pieces are in place. And that grounded conviction in your work changes how you show up everywhere, in conversations, in content, and in sales. It is literally the difference of going from, I don't know what I'm doing, to I own what I do, I love what I do, I'm really good at what I do, and I believe in this work deeply. And that's it. Now, if you are listening to this and you know that you have a little bit of work to do, or a lot of work too, it's all good, around how you speak about your work and how anchored to it you are, I invite you to book that absolutely free, no pressure growth gap audit call where you and I will sit down together. It'll be super chill. We'll look at your current life and business structure. We'll see what you've got going on. We'll see where your gaps are, and I will show you exactly how to close those gaps by working smarter and focusing your time on what actually moves the needle forward. So the link for that call is in the show notes. Or if you are ready to go all in on your business with support that goes deeper than just surface level strategy, so you're not just posting more, but you're stepping into the identity of a woman who is leading her business with clarity and conviction, you can apply for my mastermind or for private coaching. The link for that is also in the show notes. Now make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss any new episodes. please consider leaving a review. If you hit those 5 stars, it's so easy, so simple. And if you want to go above and beyond and write what resonated with you inside that review, it literally means the world to me. And it helps get this podcast into the ears of other women who are also building online coaching businesses and literally changing the world and making this world a better place, just like you and me. I am so happy and so honored that you are here today. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you next time in the next episode. Mwah. If you are sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, this episode was made for me, you have 2 options. You can book your absolutely free, no pressure growth gap audit call. On this call, we'll take a look at your current life and business structure, identify where your gaps are, and show you how to close those gaps so you can get better results with less effort by working smarter and focusing your time on what actually moves the needle forward. The link is in the show notes for you. Or if you're ready to go from one-off wins to repeatable revenue with structure, strategy, and sales that support your life and keep dream clients coming back and your calendar full without burning out, you can apply to work together by clicking the link in the show notes. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss any new episodes. And if this episode hits home, please consider leaving a review, hitting those stars, and sending it to your biz bestie who's also ready to build a life and business on purpose. I'll see you next time.